And we are live.
Hello, 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 everyone. This is Luck and Powering On, and we are back at it again.
We're Egyptian again. Look at us. Look at us. I love the stream layout.
Mm.
Even with the shitty Google Translate hieroglyphs.
Yes, we are Egyptian again. That means I could bring up the Library of Alexandria and how it burned down.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Rest and rip. Okay. Throne of Fire. Fuck it. We're back at it again, guys. We're back at it again with some more Mirrodin. It's that time of the month, yet again, to I don't know, read goddamn Kane. We locked ourselves into doing this one. Honestly, this is my bad.
Yeah. At the risk of Lily getting rid of me as co-host, the Throne of Fire, also what I call my toilet after Taco Bell. All right, I had to.
Boo. Bad. That was bad. That was
Oh, I'm
bad.
getting removed as co-host after this just because of that joke.
Maybe. Maybe. I want to keep you at least for Son of Neptune, a book that I think we're both gonna
Enjoy.
probably enjoy, like better than this one at least. I don't think either of us hated this. I think
No, no, but I think that's kind of the main thing with the Kane Chronicles we seem to be having as a reoccurring trend of we don't hate it,
we would
but
just
we're not
rather be reading the
enthused.
other books.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think.
I will admit, towards the end, I started to feel emotion,
Mm-hmm.
but that's towards the end.
Only because of one particular character.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll say this is we kind of wished we were just reading the other books, and that's keeping in mind that neither of us liked Lost Hero all that much either.
It was alright.
It was I, but I will I don't know. We'll fucking see if we as we go on further. We're trying to get into territory of books that I've never read. This is I think this is. I want to say this is the first time I read Throne of Fire, but as I was reading it, I realized I had some vague memories of having a copy at some point. So maybe that's not actually the case, but like outside of a few details here, this was entirely new to me. I think that's the first time I can say that with even with some dubious amount of confidence as here. Oh, so okay, let's start us off with a summary. I wrote us a nice little summary. Sadie and Carter Kane are back, and if they don't act soon, Apophis, snake god of chaos and destruction, will be too. They're on a mission to retrieve the sun god Ra from his forced retirement. There's a hippo, a dwarf, and a love triangle. Tune in for a full deep dive into the second entry of the Reardon vs. Red-Headed Stepchild and find out if it's just as bad as the first one. Spoiler alert, kinda, yeah. Did
Yeah.
that feel apt?
More or less, but I struggle to use the term as bad as, or the phrase, just because I feel like that's too strong for how I feel.
You didn't hate I'll say I think
I was apathetic, which is a negative
that's
when it
better.
comes to a source. Yeah.
Apathetic is like there's literally no reason to read it. You'd rather have a bad
If
book
you
than one that you're apathetic towards.
if you are that type of kid who feels like Greek and Roman mythology is too mainstream for you, I feel like you would have loved the Red Pyramid.
Read it for the good Egyptian flavor, Gerard. Honestly,
Basically.
honestly, yeah, basically. Honestly, it was mostly just I wanted to be a completionist about the Reardon verse. That's why we were including this one, despite the fact that like, not only are this book series not like viewed upon as favorably, it's also not really related to Percy Jackson as a grander series outside of a few bare references here and there. And it's
Yeah.
also, as
No, I
I know, it's going from like kind of sandwiching like Red Pyramid, Lost Hero, and Throne of Fire was interesting because it actually to me made it very obvious that Throne of Fire is aiming towards a younger audience than what Lost Hero was. I wonder if that was actually the intention of it, to kind of aim back a bit lower in age range, and maybe that's why us two adults are railing against it a bit.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, because like the Lost Hero things kind of got a bit dark at times.
Mm-hmm. Lost Hero got pretty dark. I'll say So sure, to summarize our views on Red Pyramid, it was essentially that it was like a pretty decent adventure book that hinted at some grander themes that never really followed through on any of them in a meaningful way. That it
Mhm.
was like almost interesting, and that it also was from a racial standpoint kind of like complicated.
Messy.
Yeah, right. You have Sadie Kane and Carter Kane, who were ostensibly both biracial, but Sadie is presented pretty much as like a white character, and Carter is presented as a black character, and how that's it's not great. It's not great, is what it is. From the descriptions, from all that, Sadie is just like they just try and make her come across as just a white character, and a lot of
Mhm.
it kind of to me at least stunk of a kind of self-conscious, white liberalism kind of race politics, not really anything from any like area of authenticity.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong here, which I very well might be, but I don't think that there was even an attempt to address any of that this time around, was there?
No, and I almost feel like that's for the better. I feel like the good
Yeah,
thing
not
about Throne of
missed.
Fire was that by now I had my expectations set, and I found myself more willing to accept some of its flaws here and there. And oftentimes I found myself more willing to just be like, okay, this is just a kid's adventure book and it's like pretty well constructed, we can just like it. Um,
Mhm.
it's there's we can have our fun with it, but I kind of decided to front load us with the themes this time instead of putting it at the very end, because I found that this was a book that did not I don't think there's anything to like analyze all that deeply about this book.
Yeah, honestly, when I was reading this, there was like some parts where I was thinking like, oh, okay, some of the themes we're going to have to be getting about like, oh, leaders have to make hard choices. Like, I think that's like one of the themes. I feel like they didn't do too much with it, but it definitely had moments.
There's a whole thing on like identity, this idea of how you're the sum of your experiences, good and bad. And that's interesting, but also like not too much is done with that yet, and it's
Mhm.
hard. And this is what I was saying with the first one as well, where it's like, yeah, it's hard to know how much of that is like them just not knowing how to follow through and just us having to be a little patient. you know
Yeah,
because I mean, I'll even admit, I think the character of Set in the first book, Seth, no, they call him Set, don't they?
set.
They call him Set. Yeah, both are acceptable generally. um they how like I had problems with how he was portrayed. A very Christianized version of him gets pushed in this one,
Hmm.
and I found myself liking him more here. I found
It's
myself liking
because
him
they
more.
gave him sass.
They give him sass. They made him like the Loki of the series properly, where it's like, yeah, you can just be a sassy
Oh,
little guy.
I would be chewing on the first book much more if that was how he was the entire time.
Yeah, but he's kind of just like evil man in the first
He
book,
is.
which is again not even really in line with how the
To be fair,
mythology is presented.
that is just Loki again. Like the first Avengers movie, it was just I am evil man will conquer with this
I mean,
army.
have you like seen the first Thor movie in a hot second?
Nope.
It's like it's like Shakespearean the way that the way that they do it there, and I think that was actually the director's bread and butter. Like Loki is like a tortured like evil scheming vizier. It's like it's great. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, not to derail too much, but like to be fair, before the MCU, Thor literally did try to depictions of Thor did speak more in like a Shakespearean way.
Mm. But go maybe I'll need to show you those movies again soon. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not.
But we are
Yeah,
digressing.
yeah. Before we get completely
Pyramids,
off,
not Asgard. This
uh,
Valhalla will come at a future time, so
Valhalla will
I have
come.
heard.
Valhalla will come. Oh gosh, this is how you know it's good. We're already getting way off topic. I feel like we've
Yes. All right. May I say something regarding the romance? Not anything too specific.
I want you to hold up on that for a second. We're gonna get there when we
Oh,
get
okay.
there.
Okay.
Actually, first, how about you just provide a general spoiler-free opinion? How was this book? Like, ostensibly, the first part of these videos is supposed to act as a kind of pseudo
Primer.
recommendation. So just
Ah,
how did you find it? Just actual positive or negative opinion, or just neutral?
the worst part is I feel like whenever we have come to the Kane Chronicles, I hate the fact that I've repeated this sentiment before. Pretty neutral, leaning good. Uh, I kind of feel the split perspective is sometimes detrimental towards some of the characters' reflections on things going on. Uh, Overall, fine, I guess. If you like Egyptian mythology or want to learn more about it, this is probably going to be one of your better bets. Not exactly too much in the market of that, unfortunately,
Yeah,
especially for an
unfortunately, there's
age
like
range
not
like this.
much.
Yeah, especially for a younger age range, the Egyptian mythology is basically unheard of. So, honestly, I would recommend it just for that fact, because, variety is the spice of life and all. And just mythology is better than not. So I could at least recommend it based off of that. But if you have Percy Jackson in front of you and the throne of or not the throne of fire, the Red Pyramid in front of you, I'd say just go Percy Jackson in the end. And that ties back into Throne of Fire because I'm kind of basing it off of series so far.
I would kind of categorize this as like, a fun kids adventure book with no with not really any deeper literary value. Um and considering this series is at least a little bit like, trying to find literary value in these kinds of books, then I think that means that I don't hard recommend it. But also, like at this point, if you're watching along with us, either you're reading these books along with us or you're not, right? Like either you're going to be a completionist about it and you're just going to read all of them just for the sake of like keeping up with the series properly, the way it was quote unquote intended.
We have
Or
intentions.
yeah, we have some intentions. Oh, fuck it. Either that or you're just gonna listen along to us and just take that as your little spark notes. I'm not your mom. Both are acceptable at this point, and I don't think the Kane Chronicles series in general is one you have to read, unless you're being insane like us.
Insanity is its own virtue.
Yep. So I think that's my generalized take. I'll also say that this is the I've been trying to make a habit of organizing my notes before these streams. I did not with the Homestuck stream, and I think that inspired me to also not hear like one just because I found myself a little strapped for time this week, and also I don't this I didn't want to. I didn't want to. This book is short. We kind of just found it okay, and I kind of came at the end of my reading being like, okay, there's not really any grander themes I can be drawing from here, so I might as well just kind of like quill them ahead and just kind of play this by ear as we go along. I did in general have a lot less notes than I have the last couple times. My Son of Neptune notes were like 20 pages long. I think I managed like 8 here. Managed like 8.
Oh
Um,
wow.
not Son of Neptune, fucking Lost Hero. You know what I meant. We haven't read Son of Neptune yet. That's gonna be next month.
Yeah, that's the next one.
That's next month. Okay. Let me adjust here, and that's basically all I have to say for now. I think we're ready to go chapter by chapter and just kind of see what we felt as we were going along. Oh, if you actually want to talk about a bit of you want to say something spoiler free about the romance?
Yes, I
Before we
could
get
definitely
started?
do spoiler free. Reardon, come on, bro, come on. Why are the characters so obsessed with it?
There's a lot of
I
it's not
think that's
good.
about it. Yeah, yeah.
I
Like I
yeah.
remember praising Percy Jackson series where it's like, was it the Labyrinth? I think it might have been the Labyrinth one, where it was just like, oh, Annabeth just kissed him in a moment. It wasn't dwelled on. It was just like multiple books in. You were getting little, not crumbs. Like we're getting little not focused on pieces. Meanwhile, I feel like it's central focused and like it's not done the best. It's done very simple.
Percabeth was well done, and I think I'm worried that that made him overconfident because now he's got a love triangle. He's got like a kind of unrequited thing with Carter and Zia. Got a fucking the love. I really can't get over the love triangle. I think that's mostly what we're talking about here, right? Like Carter and Zia's whole situation is what it is, but like the love triangle between the 13-year-old Sadie, the god of death Anubis, and the 14, 15-year-old Walt is weird. It's weird on like multiple levels.
I swear, if Anubis like inhabits Walt and then they both date Sadie, I am going to be annoyed. I don't know how else to express that emotion, but I swear that is something I legit can see happening because, like, we know godlings are a thing in this series. It is a possibility.
I'm gonna move right past that.
I'm going to beat you up if I do. I'm going to fight you.
I haven't read the next book. I don't know for certain. I have received some spoilers though that indicate maybe maybe that might be the case. But I haven't read the book,
so
we'll get there.
I'm gonna blast my brains tomorrow with beer.
Get to forget. Okay. But yeah, the romance is. I mean, we already found it weird because Anubis is
several thousand years old.
And like I think Sadie during that time was like 12, and she was. I mean, like, you know, I tend to be lenient about these things so long as they go out of their way to actually code the character. If they, you know, if
that age,
yeah, if they went out of the way to also code Anubis as being very young, I think I would have been fine with that. You know, even if he was literally 1,000 years old, it's like, you know, you can.
Oh, you got it. Thanks.
Yeah, you can have flexibility with this so long as you actually present them at a similar kind of age of maturity. Yeah. Right? Like, is Legolas x Gimli problematic? Even though like Legolas is like 2,000 years old. It's like, no, they're mentally about the same like age of maturity. That's and like, so it then is a little weird when you get Anubis coming in, being introduced as like looking like a teenager, and actively hitting on 12-year-old Sadie, and it just gives you the ick. Gives you the ick.
Even if she was 14, that still wouldn't give me the ick. Like, come on, Irritant. This time, I don't think there was even a lore reason of why they were so young.
And so the fact that they doubled down and then also presented as Sadie trying to choose in between the human Walt and Anubis, is a little weird, especially since we're first presented as Walt like he has like we're assuming that he has a girlfriend at the first part, right? Like him and Jazz seem to have. Okay, so how basically the series starts. Yeah. Okay, so basically chapter 1, it's been a few months. It's been a few months, not quite a full year since the Red Pyramid.
Kufu being my favorite character.
Yes. And they, so Sadie and Carter, as you remember from the last book, or you should remember, they sent out some audio tapes, essentially audio tapes detailing the events of the first book, hid it in some schools, some lockers here and there, in order to attract new recruits, in order to
train them in the way of the gods.
Rebuild the way of the gods and get a bunch of magicians who can do that for the upcoming war. They get multiple students. Training. They get multiple students. Most of them aren't important. I do not remember most of their names. There's 2 that are, though. That's Jazz and Walt. And Jazz is introduced as like a friendly cheerleader type, and Walt is a young African American man. And the 2 of them are presumed to be dating. I don't think they actually say those words exactly, but I think that's the presumption.
No, they just said how they were close, and I think it was Carter's perspective Hold on, let me double check my notes on that.
Sadie assumes Walt is taken, but she has a crush on Walt. Sadie, who is just turning 13, and Walt, who I think is supposed to be, what, like 15 or 16?
Yeah, something
Something
like
like that.
that.
Yeah,
I actually didn't write down his age.
I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And if I look it up, I'm gonna get the spoiler. So
Oh no. Oh, you know what? Ignoring it. Oh, museum heist. Museum heist.
museum heist.
So yes, basically, as Lily said, this is the same type of framing of the audio logs, and here we get note of their quest. They are going to be trying to revive Ra by getting the scrolls.
Yeah, they need a scroll for that has a spell on it that Sadie needs to recite at like the right place, right time. Of course, find out that it's the right place, right time is a very complicated thing. We find out later on.
Mhm.
But in order to revive Ra, to basically have it where like, so I think the idea, right, is they revive Ra, and basically one of two things can happen: either Ra kicks Apophis's ass, or Apophis eats Ra, and the apocalypse happens. Those are the two options.
Mhm. Yes.
But the idea is, of course, hey, Ra's fought him a ton of times. That's a part of the whole journey. In the underworld, he does when the sun sets every night. Does it every night? He fights Apophis, whatever. I'm
I love
gonna
to say
pronounce it differently
multiple.
each time.
Yeah. This one might, mild spoiler, but multiple characters throughout this entire thing have said, this can be a very bad idea, right? Like,
Horace, who possessed Carter, is vehemently against this, but also he definitely has like ulterior motives for being vehemently against it. Because
because
Horace
it
is the
also
current king of the
preserves his own
gods.
throne.
Yeah. Horus is the current king of the gods. So basically, they would be dethroning Horus to give it back to his grandfather, his great grandfather.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
and for those who are just jumping in for whatever reason, Horus also resides in Carter.
kind of. No, they're not. They're not.
Aspect.
They're not. Well, he was literally residing in Carter in Red Pyramid, but they've given up the possession aspect of things, and now Carter can just like talk to him sometimes.
Yeah. There's multiple times where they're like, oh man, I wish I had the god's power at this time.
Yeah, they do not have full access anymore because it made them too OP. And
Yes.
also, Horus is a
But
dick.
Horus is, yes. But Horus is there enough to say, like, hey, you kind of only have 5 days left before the thing.
So I do gotta say, Horus being a bit of a dick does help actually bring how much of a dick Set is too into some perspective. I complained about Set being too much just the evil one in the first book, and it's like, yeah, well, I mean, in all fairness, they're all absolute pricks.
Even Isis is a bit of a prick.
Oh yeah, she's like a schemer. She's a schemer who
Yeah,
conspired to get her own grandfather dethroned.
I feel like that was all right. I'm not sure if that was just me perceiving it like this, but I feel like it was supposed to be perceived Isis was the nicer of the siblings, but then she had that as like a bigger reveal. But like she was kind of always still a bit of a dick.
Yeah, she really was. I think really
Yeah.
that's something that I think is most in line with her. It's decently in line with the mythology, where it's like I think she is oftentimes viewed as like one of the nicer ones. A lot of priestesses, a lot of women, kind of a protection goddess, as well as like goddess of harvest, fertility. Well liked, certainly, though maybe
Mhm.
not considered to be as closely tied to like personal everyday life as some of the others. But she would have been well liked, would have had a positive opinion about her, but still definitely as much of a royal schemer as all the others.
Yes, but yes. So basically, they accidentally start a fire. Actually, I think that's chapter 2, but I kind of break it down, well, mentally kind of have it just as 2 chapters, one character perspective. It's kind of the
Yeah.
same blurb.
After a while, you just kind
But
of
yeah,
start blending together the two chapters.
mhm. But yeah, they set a fire, so oops, gotta summon a boat to get out of there.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
and also demons or evil spirits, my mistake.
Also demons. Okay, let me see what I have over here. Oh yeah, I noted for these first two chapters how after Lost Hero being so serious and so fucking angsty at times, I felt almost jarred, like going back to like haha silly Rick Riordan again, where there's like a squawking griffin named Freak and like a bunch of chaos and shit's happening around us, and the dinner guests looking shocked at them as they stumble upon them in the museum. Um,
Yeah, they kind of accidentally caused all of their issues within this arc because didn't they grab the thing at the wrong time?
yeah,
Because it was kind of cursed.
Sadie grabbed the thing and then it set herself on fire. Carter tried to warn her, but she was not listening.
Sadie, her main characteristics, stubborn and reckless. Oh, and the dreaded third one. Boy.
Boy.
Yes. I was going to say boy hungry, but then my brain wanted to stop me. Just like, I hate that.
I think
but
boy
it's true.
crazy is
That's
the
the
actual
term.
turn of
I
phrase.
forgot the. Yes, I forgot the turn of phrase for a moment there. But yeah, boy crazy as much as I hate it.
Okay.
Oh, Jazz also overexerts herself healing people, well, Walt specifically, and subduing the spirits.
And she goes into a coma. She gets really sick.
Yes.
She gets very sick. She goes in a coma later, but for now she's
out of
very,
commission.
very sick. Out of commission, and Walt seems pretty broken up about it. And she and this is also the first time, you know, I think we get some hints here that like there's something going on with Walt, but funny enough, she actually ends up giving Sadie a
medicine.
This isn't it's like a clay like healing doll or something or other that's supposed to it was made in the image of Carter, so it should be especially useful for healing him, was the idea.
Yeah.
Just give us a plot device. Give us to get Carter a one get out of deadly injury free card.
Mm-hmm. I think that more or less summarizes those first two chapters. Sadie perspective shift.
Sadie getting hit with a love triangle for real. Love triangle stick for real in this one.
Immediately when you shift to her perspective, you get hit with her crushing on Walt.
Hit with her crushing a Walt, but still thinking about Anubis, and those are most of her thoughts. Mm-hmm. Most of her thoughts, which is it's slightly irritating. I think what they were trying to go for here with Sadie was like what you get with like Toph from Avatar, where first and foremost her character is that she is like a badass that you all like a lot, right? But then there's this kind of undercurrent that humanizes her, where, you know, she's like a little boy. Like I think Toph is like a little boy crazy affectionate, right? Like she has like a crush on Sokka at one point. It seems like she kind of is like having a crush on Zuko, where after he joins, where she's like clinging to his arm when they're like taking their walk out.
Trip.
When you do her trip with Zuko, but she's clearly like has a crush on. Like it's sweet. It's a little thing of like, oh, this character who comes across as very tough has this like bit of humanity soft to side. Her. And you appreciate that. I think that was what was the intention with Sadie of making this tough character, but really it just ends up being like the other way around, right? The romance aspect of it just takes such like precedence. It is the main thing about her character in this book, and therefore any attempts to also frame her as a badass feel like odd. It doesn't feel it's not it doesn't quite work.
Yeah. Heck, even if you were to give Toph an internal monologue we could all hear about her crushing on the other two, I feel like it wouldn't be as bad with her as it is with Sadie.
We not only thing on her mind ever. Right? Like it's just not terribly realistic is the issue. Also, she's the first character that I'm like, okay, Rick, little sexist here. You've written this character where their whole deal is a romance, and that's it's not good. It's not great.
Yeah. But we should probably address some more of the plot things instead of railing against this point we already have discussed.
Whatever. We'll rail against it 5 more times.
We absolutely will. But there's something important to talk about. Russia, specifically a man named Vladimir.
Russia.
And
Vladimir
we're not talking
Menshikov.
about, yes, because Sadie seems to get a bit of a soul, or what was it, Ba trip. And basically, Vladimir is concerned because they now know that the kids are getting the scrolls. He says a darker age is coming, and they are going to put it nicely, stop the kids.
So Vladimir Menshikov is introduced as a pretty intimidating kind of character. Yeah, he's like a
Mhm.
Russian man, older. I think like white, like he's probably having like white hair and like a white suit, right? It's like,
Yeah,
and he's also described as having very bad burns all over him, especially on his eyes. He's complete.
imposing man.
Yeah, yeah. He's complete. I don't actually know if he's explicitly written as supposed to being blind. I assume that's the case, but also it's not really ever made like
Clear.
very explicit or clear. It's not ever drawn. No attention is drawn to it. But he's
Yeah.
presumably blind.
So yeah, as you could probably assume, he's going to be our antagonist coming forward. And yeah,
Man with scary Russian name and spooky scars. It's usually how you do. Yeah, that's about right.
yeah, it's a good tee up. So yeah, they're going to
Which
have
yeah.
to.
Sorry, just like let's not dig too hard into the kind of bad stereotype of making disabled people villains and tying and in the end even tying his villainy to his disability. Let's not worry about that. We don't have time for all of that, but it is there.
It is a lot. Yeah, not one of the strongest entries, I will say. Continuing on, but Sadie is also having a bit of a personal dilemma of just, oh no, I'm supposed to meet up with Gran and Gramps, but we have to save the world in 5 days. I'm still gonna see him.
Yeah, she wants to go leave because it's her birthday. She's turning 13.
Yes,
So she wants
that's how we
to
know.
she wants to have a normal birthday in London. She's from London. Um and everyone pretty much is against it for good reason because the world's going to end really soon and she's pushing it a little bit. Though I will give this book this bit of credit, which is that so I think Sadie is so worried about coming across as selfish like that it kind of overcompensates and you kind of end up feeling overcompensates in a good way in which you kind of end up just feeling bad for her, or at least I did by the time I was done. I think I kind of came at it like, okay, yeah, it's not the most sensible decision to be doing this right now, but also
Mhm.
she is just a kid who's like tying herself up in knots over just being able to have a normal birthday. I felt bad enough for
Yeah,
her in the end that I was
because
like, okay, yeah, this is an obvious trap, but like she should probably be allowed to have a normal birthday. Yeah.
I would actually have to agree with you on that. Because like my gut instinct with reading was like, this is clearly a terrible idea, but then started to read a little more like, okay, yeah, fair.
Oh, she
Yeah.
turns 14 here. Not she was okay there. Okay.
It's as I said before, 14 is still not
Yeah.
suitable.
I think I was saying she was 13 up or 13 or 12 at some point. Whatever.
Turned 13, yeah.
She's yeah.
Mhm. And I didn't bother to write the age.
I don't know. I've already lost track of the ages. I feel like I've already
They're
lost track of the ages.
child shaped.
I kind of want to double check with her because I feel like I can look her up in the wiki and not receive spoilers. Um.
Watch as you get jump scare with spoiler
Yeah.
of Sadie Carter death.
Ah.
Ah.
Um. Let me. Okay. It doesn't really specify how old she is in each book. Um. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't really specify. I think in these notes I wrote that she was 14. I don't know if that's actually accurate. She's the wiki just lists her as 14, but that could just be in the final book. Who fucking knows? I don't care enough. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was an obvious trap, but I think that makes it like more sad, honestly, that you're like, oh, this is gonna be a trap. She's gonna like get her shit rocked.
Nice and fun day.
Yeah. Chapter 5.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I started because I was I don't know. I started taking notes at the end of chapters rather than, or like trying to take a couple
Long.
notes at the end rather than taking them as I was going along. It saved a little bit of time. I do wonder if it meant that maybe I didn't have as much to say at times. That might have contributed to this short note length. But I multiple times found myself strapped for time this last month. So, R.I.P.
It's
me. Hope that didn't affect the
understandable.
analysis too badly. Um,
It's fine. You got your YouTube.
yeah, but I will say I did love. I do continue to love Carter's POV. He's like such a worrywart. He continues to be, in my opinion, probably the better Kane sibling as far as like just to follow.
Yeah,
Generally,
I do actually kind of appreciate some of his internal conflicts because he definitely, how best to phrase it, the weight of leadership, I suppose, seems to be his running thing, where it's just like he's the one who feels like he has to take care of the rest. He feels like he's the one who has to make the hard choices, which, I mean, yeah, he kind of does to an extent.
he also rejects a call to leadership where Horace tries to convince him to not revive Ra and rather rather be repossessed by Horus, and then the two of them can be king of the gods and king of Egypt together. And he
Mhm.
rejects that. He decides he doesn't want to do that. So I
Yeah.
think that's interesting. I mean, we're not sure where it's going to go outside of Horus saying some very threatening things to him at the end of the book as a result of them
Yeah.
successfully bringing back Ra. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I don't remember where it was, but I think it was his dad who said this, where it's just like, "Oh yeah, I'll always be proud of you as long as you do what you believe is right," something like that.
Mm-hmm. Horus is mad
Yeah,
at him.
not just horror. Bast also makes a remark about that, about him wanting to bring back Raw.
Yeah. Everyone kind of seems to think it's a bad
A
idea.
fool's errand.
And
Hmm.
we start to understand that by the end. We'll get there when we get there. But from the beginning, though, it's not the why they think it's a bad idea doesn't quite make sense outside of a vague he's real old. Because we with the flashback we see of Isis and of Isis talking to Ra when she tricked Ra in order to get him. Well, not trick. She poisoned him. She poisoned him.
Yeah,
The idea was she
she
poisoned him.
schemed her way.
She schemed her way into it to get him to give her his true name, his ba. Um, did I get that right? I might have actually gotten that wrong.
It's fine.
Too many
No one's here to
souls.
fact check us. No one
Too
fact
many
checks.
souls. No one fact checks these. Prove to me you've read this.
Yeah, Carter dies in this chapter.
Yeah. Anyway, she asks for his true name, and he with much reluctance gives it to her, and we're not. He does not have the visage of a king that is. I mean, he's described as being old and tired, but he has not lost his wits.
Yeah.
Certainly, he is with himself enough to be very angry at her.
To be fair, how much of that is the poisoning he was enduring, we do not know.
Plus, this is also we find out about a little mechanic about true names, one that was not there before, but whatever. And that like he gives Isis his true name, like whispers it to her, and she like witnesses the horrors due to being inundated by like all of his memories, the sum of his existence. You find out, Sadie finds out through that that's what a true name really is. That it is the sum of your identity, who you are as a person, and therefore all of your memories as well. And well, well, Isis sees the horrors, and we don't see what she sees, but we get some hints.
It's fine. It's totally fine. It's
Mm.
probably fine.
Before we get there,
So,
though, I don't know.
yeah, so back in London.
Carter, yeah. Well,
Oh wait, I actually do have a note here. Carter made some reference to Percy Jackson about flying horses in New York.
He did. Also, we start to get more of Carter's whole. We're reintroduced to Carter's drama with Zia. So Zia was a character from the first book, or was kind of not a character. We find out later. So Zia was a character throughout the book that had a bit of a like will they won't they romance with Carter. until the end, where you find out
She
that for
died.
the majority of the book, she dies, but you find out for the majority of the book, this was actually a Shabti, a like clay
Golem type
substitute
thing.
golem that was acting as Zia, like in her place, and that the real Zia they've actually only met once and is being hidden, was hidden in some
Village of Red
village
Sands.
some village, her village, it's like super remote, it's her old village that got utterly destroyed due to some bullshit her father got up to.
Yeah, Iskander, the last High Mage, I forgot the name, basically had told Carter, like, yeah, here's a hint. Actually, wait, did he say the hint?
I think
Fuck it.
Set gave him the hint.
Oh, yeah, it was. But yeah, the last High Mage of the Magician's house was the one who hit her. It was like, I have good intentions this whole time, and then dies.
Yeah. But anyway, Carter is pretty broken up by this because, well, he was getting a romantic connection with Zia, and now the conflict is, of course, will she remember any of that, or will she just completely reject him and his feelings?
Feelings.
I have this note for chapter 6. I think at one point, Amos is talking with Carter and the others about how, like, oh, you know, if Frenchie Desjardins, the current like head, if some bullshit goes down.
I'm glad your note still says Frenchie, because I still used Frenchie the whole time.
If some bullshit goes down and they need to, because I think they have him. So there's Menshikov. And Menshikov is like the most powerful magician currently, I think, and then the third most powerful one. He's second. No, wait, is it? Are you sure?
Frenchie is 1, then it's Menshikov 2.
No. You haven't twisted it around. I know you haven't twisted it around. Because I wrote down very specifically, there is a mysterious second most powerful magician.
Oh, okay.
Menshikov or Frenchie, one of them is 1, one of them is 3. Don't remember which is which. I think it was like Menshikov, mysterious number 2, and then Frenchie. I'm almost positive.
You know what? I'll believe that.
Anyway, Amos when Carter says, like, well, what about the second one? Do we have to talk to them? Do we have to? And Amos like, don't worry. And I literally put the note, Amos is the second most powerful magician, isn't he? Oh yeah, also this is another thing I was talking about, the whole Zia thing. Why the Zia storyline started to worry me, really, because I think we both agreed with the last book, where it has the potential of either being really neat or really bad, depending on how it all goes. Like, imagine if this turned into a lesson about how it's bad to fall in love with an imagined person in your head. Imagine if the opposite happens, and it turns out Carter and Zia were, like, meant to be together, and they didn't need to put in any work. What happens in reality is, like, somewhere in the middle. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they basically, no, we'll wait until we get there. I won't say exactly what happens yet, but it's somewhere in the middle.
But moving on, I suppose.
This is an actual proper Sadie fight where things get spooky.
Yeah, monkey.
To no one's surprise, it was a trap. She shows up to her grandparents' house, and they've both been possessed by some spooky gods.
Yes, Vulture and Baboon. It was Bobby and Neckbet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You wrote that down. I didn't.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
And it's very
Bobby.
Quite.
Sorry.
I think it's like Bobby.
Oh, that my note is. Continue on, because I have it spelled BAH space BE for my pronunciation, God, or guide, not God. So I'm pretty sure I meant Bobby, not instead of Bob, because it's literally B.
It's spelled BABI. So
yes, Bobby, God of baboons, is monkey.
Yeah, because Sadie makes a joke and calls him Bobby, like the name.
Yeah,
which is cute. And also not a bad subtle hint to the kids how they're actually supposed to pronounce it.
Yes.
And it's all pretty spooky. Sadie's like running around London with her friends, and they're being chased, and The things start
The
getting pretty
scene
intense.
happens.
Which scene are you referring to? Is it the introduction of
Yes.
the one who
Yes.
will be our favorite little guy, but
No.
no?
The jackal-headed
Just say it. Just say it. Oh, just
Anubis.
oh yeah,
Anubis
Anubis is
kissed her.
back.
Remember that?
Nope, blocked it out.
Okay, I need to double check my notes because now I feel like I might have gotten something wrong. But my note is literally in all caps. Why the fuck did Anubis kiss her on the lips, Reardon?
You probably did. You probably did. I didn't. I didn't write it down or choose to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably right. I believe you.
Almost suddenly feeling insane.
No, don't feel insane. I believe you.
Nope. I found the line.
I just
He
didn't
leaned
perceive
forward
it.
and kissed me on the lips. Damn it, Reardon.
I just didn't perceive it.
We're gonna kick his ass.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna ignore that.
Moving on.
Not.
Yes.
This makes me very glad that the characters in the Percy Jackson series do not fuck the gods. That's not typically happening unless they're already adult characters.
I am so glad Aphrodite didn't say, like, you know what, Percy Jackson, you're cute. Want a date? I'm glad that didn't happen.
I'm very glad that didn't happen. I'm glad the closest we get to that is when humanized Apollo is joking about his past lovers. Essentially, and it better stay that way. I swear to God, if there's anything in the future that contradicts what I just said, we're canceling this whole thing. It's done.
Why do I hear boss music?
Oh,
I'm only saying that on the off chance it happens.
Oh God, it better fucking not. I hope after this he learned his lesson. He's like, it's a bad idea. Oh gosh, he's still there. You cut out pretty badly. Oh no, his luck left us? Oh no. Oh no, it's me. Oh no.
Okay. Oh no,
wait.
indeed.
Oh wait.
Yeah?
Can you hear me now?
You can hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Your stream is buffering, but it looks like I still have 3 Wi-Fi signal barred.
No, it disconnected on me for a second there, but I'm back. I'll hopefully stay back. I wasn't having any issues before, so
Oh, okay.
just a momentary blip, I hope.
Hiccup.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Anyway. Let's a much better scene in this one. The introduction of our favorite little guy.
Oh, wait,
Emphasis on little guy.
MacGuffin knife.
MacGuffin knife? MacGuffin knife.
MacGuffin knife. Alright, that's about it.
Okay, who gives her the MacGuffin knife? I forgot.
Anubis.
Cool. Anubis gives her MacGuffin knife, and then the actual MacGuffin is that Best, the god of dwarves, and also scaring the shit out of monsters, arrives. He's the god of dwarves and scaring the shit out of people. Those are the two things.
Honestly, when I was introduced to him, I was thinking like, oh, okay, he's just gonna be a quirky guy that sometimes makes jokes and is gonna leave after a few chapters. He kind of sticks around.
I was worried, honestly, because I felt like if we started off being kind of judgmental towards him, like, you know, just driving him like really like short. I mean, he is literally he's described as being like a little person, like someone actually with actual dwarfism.
Yeah.
But
then they also crank that up and intentionally play up his ugliness. Because it says here, features like that of a Neanderthal, thick unibrow, one eye bigger than the other, greasy beard, skin with poxy red welt, and hair that looks like it was set on fire and stomped out.
Yeah, it felt to me maybe a little mean-spirited.
Yes.
And so then I was maybe pleasantly surprised where you go on with the book and he is actually pleasantly developed.
Yeah.
Pleasantly well developed and actually very sympathetic.
Well, yeah, introduced, and he is the chauffeur. The chauffeur.
He scares off those gods by stripping down to his undies and roaring. And then he drives a really nice car.
Wait, Lily, pause.
What?
Can you check if you're online still?
Am yes. From my view.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, cause your Twitch is never mind. It just kicked back on. All right, we good.
Okay. It didn't even give me a notification that I was disconnecting. I got one last time.
Okay, it might have just been reloading from when you had that blip.
And
But for
just
me, it says your stream has only been going for about 15 seconds at the moment.
Oh, I'm not even getting that from my perspective. That's weird. Whatever. I'm honestly going to mostly just continue on, as if for the sake of a smooth
Watch
recording at
the
least.
YouTube video.
Well, I mean, the stream's fine. You know, just do your refresh if you
I
need
mean,
to.
like in case things were cut out about Bass.
I know, yeah, yeah. But anyway, Bess starts off judgmental or seeming to be a little judgmental, but he quickly starts to grow on you and quickly gains a lot of good development in a way that goes beyond just his differences.
Yeah.
And even then when we discuss them, it's directly, it's honestly not bad. It's honestly not bad. I think it helps that they actually grounded it in a real historical event.
Yeah.
Um which I think we can more or less get into in the next chapter, in the next two chapters here, in the next two chapter chunk.
Hmm.
Uh, so chapter 9 is where we I think know for sure that something is going on with Walt, but Sadie wants to ignore it
Yeah.
because love triangle makes her uncomfortable, and you know me too, tbh. But
Yeah.
the
Because
gang goes. She joins back up with Carter alongside Bess, and they go to Russia, um, because Menshikov is like the descendant of this specific czar, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, he has a palace there, and that I think is actually an actual real palace. Uh,
Yes. And basically, they got to get the scroll from him.
yeah, yeah. Also, I'm seeing I just got the. I think the stream notification just was sent back up right this second. So let's let's hope. Let's hope that not too much was missed. But I'm gonna move right
That's probably
forward.
fine.
I'm gonna move right forward, I think.
But
Um,
yes, they need to go get the scroll, and it is in Vladdy's care.
it's in Vladdy's care, and
And this also says, "Don't get captured alive by this man. It's terrible."
yeah, he so Bess gets a bit of a tragic backstory, and the book clarifies at the end that this is actually a thing that really happened. I didn't. Maybe I should have actually done research to look into this, but I didn't. It was a dwarven wedding was held in one of the palaces, and that is, well, that's what they called it, but basically what they did is that they gathered up some little people and then dressed them up for a wedding and forced them to perform, and it was pretty cruel the way the way it was done. It was very not good, and Bess was apparently actually there and was pretty heavily traumatized by it. It traumatized in such a way that it almost feels like they're hinting at something else, which is what kind of made me want to research it. I just never got around to it. My bad.
Don't worry, I'm actively looking at Wikipedia right now.
Let's see.
Okay, nothing's popping up on that search. Hold on, let me just search a dwarf wedding, see if that helps.
I think it was I think it was in fact a Menshikov Palace, so probably look that up.
Continue on, because I'm not finding it. I did find like a picture that's apparently a painting of it, but not much more on it.
Well,
So
we
it
can just
probably
move on.
was just a thing. Yeah.
We can move on. But he describes it as
Yeah.
being very not good, and it starts to endear you to him a little bit as a reader. Next chapter is when we get back with is when Set reappears. So Menshikov is actually trying to talk with Set in order to get him to join him, and Set's being a little stinker about it and doesn't want to do it.
Very
And
sassy.
to our surprise, he ends up actually helping the Canes by they make a little bit of a deal with him in the moment. Sadie gives him back his name if they if he helps him out. which I think they clarify that as having the name allows you to control the person to some extent, and when you give back the name, the memory of the name isn't literally plucked from your head, but you no longer really know how to say it right. The magic of it is basically gone, and so he wants to make that deal with her, and even though Carter says it's a bad idea, she decides to go with it, having no other options, and it pays off because he actually, to everyone's surprise, doesn't betray them immediately.
To be fair, this is also out of self-preservation, because something that probably should be noted is he literally gave away their stealth position to Vlad, and Vlad had actively bound, by the way, he also sacrificed a demon for this, had bound Set into some ceramic jar thing. And so he was just saying, like, hey guys, free me as well.
But they do eventually free him, and he helps a little bit, and then he like leaves. they have to fight a snake that he likes, and he's like, well, I don't want to do that. So bye. Yeah, he comes back later.
I do want to harp on him asking the Kanes for help, because, Vlad summons the snake thing, and then he's like, man, if only someone could help you right now, but there's only me who's trapped in a jar. If only I wasn't in this jar.
And then they free him, and he's like, well, I don't want to fight the snake, actually.
He does kind of bully Vlad a little.
He does. It's great. I think Set's like charming in this. He's described as wearing like a all red disco suit. Like, I like him in this.
He's such a sass master in this. I loved it.
Kills a couple people. It's fun.
He does it in a funny way this time, so it's all forgiven. This is why we like Baby Girl Loki.
He's circled back. He's full circled back to Baby Girl Loki, and we like that.
Just keep him like this, Weirden, please, I beg of you. He's like the most compelling character of this, second to best.
Please, he's great. We like him.
But unfortunately, he has to leave after they made the deal for the information.
Speaking of which, my first note in chapter 11 is this quote that I pulled. You, I said, too filled with loathing to issue a proper death threat. Me, Set said cheerily. I love him. I love him.
Oh yeah, also Carter got injured and Sadie now has his real name or some.
Yeah. And where even are we? Also maybe it's interesting coincidence where Loki is a lot like Set, and that he gets in like depictions, he gets this like, through Christianization, he kind of also got is now more or less the devil as far as like modern readings of the mythology goes.
From the Bible.
Regardless of whether that was actually ever his intended role. Just due to Christianization happening, Set got the exact same treatment, so kind of like making Set a little bit like the Marvel Loki now makes actually a lot of sense. They kind of fill similar historical niches.
Yeah. But yeah, Carter's injured. They got Zia's village name, and Sadie also got Vlad's glasses.
Thank
you, Set.
Also, they go back, and Jazz, in a scene that it's heavily implied that Jazz dies, she doesn't actually, but
they say she's close to death.
Honestly, I straight up thought she was dead until I came to one of the last chapters, and they're like, "No, she's not." And I was like, "Wait, what?" was I supposed to just assume she was fine? Not fine. She was in a coma, but it seemed the way they framed it seemed so definitive to me that it was like, she's talking with Sadie, and then she gives Sadie this wisdom, and then she fades to nothing, and Sadie's crying her eyes out, and I felt like I was supposed to understand that she was dead now, but no.
Like we said before, this is a younger target audience.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get there. We get there, but
yeah.
Also confirmation that Carter is. it's pretty clear at this point that Carter has a unhealthy obsession with Zia, and that
Yeah.
it's not the best. He seems to it seems like she's always on his mind, and Sadie seems actively worried for him about it, and he's very obsessed with helping her to an extent. It seems like the book is implying what I was hoping, which is that he has kind of a hero complex around it, that he's obsessed with this idea that the narrative has to go a certain way, and that might get him in trouble. What actually happens is a bit more complicated than that, not necessarily in a good way, but like we'll get there. Either way, though, a slight sibling rift at this point. Not a big one, but
Not like
a
the
little
first
one.
book where they were kind of distrustful of each other.
There's a little one, and it'll come back full circle as we go forward. But they've been having their conflicts, certainly. Chapter 13. My first note. I guess they must have made a reference to Moses parting the Red Sea, because I reminded myself here that Moses is canon to these books. There's so many fucking implications.
Oh yeah.
So many implications. They have generally alluded to this. So it's like a multi-pantheon world, right?
Yeah.
The idea is, there's the Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians, the Nordic gods, and they all kind of exist within the same
They're
world.
separate spheres.
Yeah, they're in their separate spheres, but also they seem to like meet each other sometimes. Thoth references
Thoth
having met Hermes and not liked him very much.
Heliopolis.
Yeah. And that's been given with that they have that with room for this idea that these are all guys who are in charge of various smaller domains or have certain cultural significance, but that isn't the same as capital G God. So they're always very careful about always doing all the other gods always lowercase g. I think that's better grammar anyway when you're talking about a multi-god pantheon.
Yeah. I can't wait for Reardon to finally run out of ideas, and then the final book is just like the Son of God 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Let's just do Bible fan fiction. Let's just go full circle. But yeah, the idea is that they're
Dante's Inferno and what was it? Heaven's
Paradise Lost.
That's the one. Yes.
I was watching Overly Sarcastic Productions Over the Garden Wall video today, so it's on my mind. Because they were comparing it to Dante's Inferno.
Gotcha. Didn't Red coin the term "sexy Satan"?
Well, maybe. Sexy Satan's been a thing for a long time.
Paradise Lost. Yeah.
But let's not worry about that for now.
Yeah, best made illusions.
I think that's mostly just to not alienate his Christian audience, more or less.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but Bess also did talk a little more mano-a-mano with Carter, just like, yeah, I got free from the Russians, got a little help, yada yada. So don't get starry-eyed over someone you can't have. I made that mistake once. Then he stares off into the distance, and we all kind of have our assumptions, considering he's doing a very special favor for that person. Did we mention that?
Why don't you describe it?
Okay, so Bess is here specifically because Boss called in a special favor,
Bast.
And yeah, Bast. Bast?
Bast. Bastet, so Bast.
Gotcha. So yes, Bast basically had called up Bess and is like, you know what? Yes, absolutely. And so now he's giving Carter some advice about don't get starry-eyed. Have and it's the cat. It's the cat. It's totally the cat.
It's the cat.
It's the cat.
A horrible joke just popped into my head. I'm gonna hold it back. Did the same exact one occur to you?
It's now occurring to me.
Okay, good. I'm not gonna say it.
I think I can make assumptions on it though.
Okay. He wants that. What's another word for cat? Okay,
Moving
anyway,
on.
Carter's definitely going into a trap. Almost certainly. Even more certain than we were about Sadie going into a trap for her birthday.
Yeah, so this one is super apparent.
It's been super apparent, but also for the second time of the book, one of the siblings has done a selfish thing that's like honestly understandable enough. Even if Carter weren't having kind of delusions of heroism, you would still admit that, like, well, poor girl's trapped down there. You probably would want to rescue her eventually.
Yeah,
And you probably
plus,
want her
not
help
only
since
that,
she's
but
Nephthys.
yeah, and not only that, but also when they into there is the crook and flail of Ra, which are like very good things to have. So like on good trip, smart idea if it was done better.
Oh yeah, the problem is that he's going in rashly with a bunch of delusions of heroism.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the house is here.
Describe the house.
Yeah, Frenchie and Wooski come by and they're like, aha, Zia,
Oh ho
it's the evil
ho.
king. Oh, it is the evil Kane. Come join us, Zia.
Yeah, I think we already
And
knew
then
at this point. We didn't say so. We knew that Menshikov and Desjardins were working together, more or less. That Menshikov had tricked him
the
somehow.
yeah, Menjikov was basically just like, the Kane's attacked, the truce is over, kill their asses.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then I have a note here that I want to say verbatim. If I felt stronger about Zia, I probably would feel bad about her being confused and siding with the house.
Yeah, so she wakes up, and so it turns out that she actually did get memories from the shop day, but she also feels deeply disconnected to them, and therefore does not trust Carter whatsoever. Sides at the house, even as Carter is yelling at Desjardins, being like, "Hey, you're being tricked," and Desjardins even seems to be like, maybe." Seems to believe him for a second, but still doesn't, doesn't act on it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I did feel a little bad for Carter, though. Not too much, just a little.
Yeah, you do. I mean, for one, he's he's acting in a way that it's foolish, but kind of get it. You feel bad that, like, I think I literally wrote it, worst best possible option. As in worst for Carter, best for me, the reader, which is that Zia remembers, but also still doesn't like him.
Yeah, I honestly kind of agree with that route, I'll be honest.
Only
It would have
complicated.
felt kind of cheap if they just immediately reconnected. It would have felt super cheap.
They didn't, though. I will say though that the way that this does not, like, pretty much this is the end of their arc for now. It is not really referenced or discussed past this. That's, I think, where I came back to it being kind of, I implied it was a little weak, that they kind of like half-assed it a bit. And it's like, yeah, because they do this and it's interesting for a moment, but then it proceeds to have very few long-term consequences, at least for now.
Yeah. In fact, I even had a note here saying, you know, also, this is quite the weakness of the split view, because come on, I want to see Carter's stuff right now.
Yeah, but instead you just have that one thing with Zia, and then you go straight to Sadie, and it seems like Sadie feels bad for him. She has no insight whatsoever on his thoughts here.
Yeah. Like, if it was a mono perspective, we definitely could have seen much more angst out of it.
Mm-hmm. But either way, though, you just kind of, it's chapter 14 out of 24. They put in their little detail about this plot point, and they put a pin in it until the next book, basically.
Yeah.
So also, I'm realizing that, like, oh yeah, we didn't mention that Sadie used that healing doll on Carter already, because he got poisoned during that whole set interaction by the big snake.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't mention it because we were too busy talking about how much we liked Set.
Set is great.
That's great.
Love him.
So okay, chapter 16 here. We got a bit of setup, a bit of continuing what that Walt mystery and hammering home about the love triangle.
Pepsi.
I gotta say, I wasn't sure if this was just. Actually, no. You can clarify for me. Her describing Walt and a lot of the romance behind that. I felt nothing when reading it, like absolutely zero. I wasn't sure if that was me having an ace moment or just the vibes of it being rancid.
Oh no, it's the vibes.
Okay.
I am a sucker for rom-com. I felt nothing.
Wasn't great.
Like, introduced in one book, had lots of moments of pining, very few moments of interaction. Like, come on, what am I supposed to chew on?
Yeah, there's kind of nothing here. I mean, for a lot of it, Sadie's going from the assumption that Walt is with Jazz.
Mhm.
Um, so you kind of understand why she can't act on much of it, but she sure is thinking about it a lot, and none of it really. I think the main issue is that it mostly comes across as just a basic attraction. They don't really know that much about each other, not until you get the little Walt
My
reveal.
yeah,
Actually, here I can
my
even say it now because it's just the next chapter. Walt gets revealed to be a descendant of or a relative of the original King Tutankhamun or King Tut, the one that died at like age like 19, 18. He was ruler for like less than a year.
yeah.
um and apparently the whole family is under a curse to where they all seem to die young. He mentions that his
Mhm.
father died at like age 18, and he's not that far away from that. It's framed explicitly as a chronic illness also, not just that they're struck dead, but as he is actively sick.
Yeah.
And
Also, crap, I lost my train of thought.
it's not well, I'll just continue and hopefully I'll find it when I'm done with my thing. But it's not it's presented pretty well. I think honestly, it's presented pretty sensitively, and it does our first insight to him as a character. But it doesn't really excuse the fact that you don't understand why Sadie likes the guy for the most part,
Mhm.
like why she specifically likes him. I think you as a reader can
She
like him.
thinks, yeah. Like the best I got was she thinks he's cute.
That really seems to be about it.
Yeah,
You don't really, yeah.
her friends did some teasing like, "Oh, he's a hot guy. Like, do you talk to him, introduce him?" Like that's about it. Like,
It kind of makes me, and that's kind of the same thing with Zia and Carter too. It just seems like it's just they just think each other. They just think they're cute. Same problem with
yeah.
Piper and Jason. They just seem to think the other's cute.
It's the assumption that the relation is a foregone conclusion that ultimately hampers any development because development is done in the assumption of romance, not to grow the characters closer like
Same
Percabeth.
bullshit you get with a lot of shonen anime, where it's like these men trying to write these romances without really understanding that what makes a romance good is even just at the basic levels, understanding why they like each other beyond physical attraction. That's
If your relationship has less development than Bulma x Vegeta, you've done something wrong.
fucked up because Akira Toriyama self-admitted he's not good at that shit, and he's not.
He's not. Yet Bulma and
That one did the bare
Vegeta
minimum.
still
That one
has
did the bare minimum. That I
exactly.
consider that the shonen bare minimum.
It is. It has like one piece of meat on it. Sure, you could chew and eat a little. That's it.
It really seemed like he didn't understand what he had there with Percabeth. Why Percabeth was so special was because like we knew why they liked each other. We understood that. And like there was something there beyond just they thought the other one was cute. They understood each other's trauma. They were genuinely supportive of each other. They could be critical of each other at times. It was like a heavy emphasis on just building them up as friends before we ever even got to a proper romance. So you just fully just you got it. You just understood like, yeah, of course they're
It
going to
was
end up
like
together.
two. It was like two books before they developed the romance.
It did feel like a foregone conclusion, but only in a but like in a
We
like
know the
these
tropes.
we know the tropes, but like also just these two are just genuinely compatible to each other and have a dynamic that you genuinely want to see more of constantly, right? Like in Lost Hero, Annabeth is like freaking out about how Percy is missing, and you feel that, you believe it. Because she's
Exactly, like she lost her wife.
that's her she lost her wife. She wants him back.
Ugh.
So
But like
yeah.
when it comes to these characters, it just feels like the romantic development is just done in a way of like, yeah, these characters are gonna end up together, so we'll just fast track it.
Yeah, and there's no real care given to. I mean, even at least even Piper. I mean, Jason's kind of fucking weak, but at least Piper had a character to her. At least Piper was a
Yeah,
character. Right? It takes Walt a long time to get any kind of character, and even by then, it just doesn't seem like it's just. He's a good side character, not really someone that you feel like is meant to take such a central role.
he's a good side character, not a love interest.
Yeah. Okay. Um here we go. Just going through my notes here again. Yeah, there's just nothing to him in this dynamic. I'm not sure why he's taking such center stage, genuinely. Chapter 17. Like I said, this would be a short stream probably.
Presumably.
Oh yeah, Carter contemplates murder, and Horace wants that throne, baby.
I love how Horace is just intrusive thoughts sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, we learn about how Vladimir was once a wannabe godling. Menshikov, I mean, Vladimir's given name. He once wanted to summon Ra, and he failed. That caused his whole face to get burned, and basically was so pissed off by it that he decides he's going to go exactly the other direction and try and resurrect Apophis.
Yeah. He's kind of a bitch.
Yeah. Later, it's kind of implied that he's under some kind of light hypnosis, or he's being manipulated by Apophis somehow. It's presented in such an odd way that I didn't buy it for a second.
Honestly, I genuinely thought that was like a cope or lie at first. Just like, no, he's supposed to be a bitch. Like that's him. Like this feels retconny, even though it's in the same book.
Feels retconny. I also, we're skipping ahead here a bit, but when Carter describes knowing this based off of Menshikov having a broken look in his eyes. It's kind of weak. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not much that's very little to go by. Just a broken look in his eyes. It feels like he understood it just based off of vibes, or just because the author wanted him to know this at this point, rather than like, I don't know, providing any additional hints to it. This is the closest we get to a hint that might be the case. Just that he at first tried to revive Ra and failed. But there's no indication otherwise. I guess they say that he was a part of that his family used to be a part of the House of the Gods. They used to practice god magic. But I mean, even if you're told that, like, his grandfather basically tortured the god Bess. It's not exactly a not exactly a
familiar relationship.
Yeah, not exactly. There seems to be all indication that he's just a prick. Yeah, and then Carter just seems to say otherwise, or say that he actually doesn't want to do this because the author decided it was time for him to know that. Feels contrived.
Honestly, I would have much preferred if it was Carter's innocence butting up against someone who just is terrible.
It just feels a bit contrived.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Vlad tells Frenchie, like, oh yeah, let's attack their house. I got demons, criminal people who are banished. Demons. Yeah. Oh, a fun fact. Apparently, there's like magicians who, if they do bad things, they get exiled to the Nome of North Korea.
Oh, what the fuck? I didn't catch that. That's insane. We're gonna move right past that.
Move right past it, because I feel like I need to grab a quote for that, because now I'm second guessing that.
No, I know. Look, whenever you say something like that, I believe you fully. I think if I don't, I'll argue against it directly.
Fair enough. But that basically occurs. Oh, in chapter 18, I just have this note because I find it to be a little funny. Walt, like most men, seems to have the desire to die for a glorious reason. Okay. Would you care to elaborate on that?
No. No, not really. Sure, yeah, okay. It's there to justify why he's doing this rather than like resting, because again, it's implied that it's not just a curse that he's gonna like fall dead. He's actively sick. Yeah. So the idea is he's out here because, well, if they don't fix this, they're gonna die anyway, and also he'd rather have his life mean something if it's gonna be so short anyway. I think that's stronger than just saying that, like all men, he wants to die for a glorious purpose. But maybe that's just me.
It absolutely is the right thing to say, because I specifically have that note listed in my section that is for jokes.
Anyway, chapter 19, they descend. I literally took no notes on this part. I like flipped back because I thought I think I'd forgotten to take notes when I first read this. I was reading it and then I was supposed to go for the Homestuck stream immediately after.
Ah,
But then I flipped back and I was like, there's nothing to write about. They descended the
gotcha.
underworld to head
Yeah.
along the path that Ra does in order to do it. They have a specific parameters given towards it, right? So there's like 12 hours and 12 houses. And so the idea is that they're supposed to keep time with each house. So, third house, third hour, fourth house, fourth hour. And later we're even told that the eighth house is very, very particular about when you enter. Will not let you enter unless it is within the eighth hour. So they got to keep the timing just right. And of course they fuck it up immediately and end up on like hour 6 by the time they're in house 4.
Yeah, I do want to say though, they had to cross through some fire plane thing. I find it weird that Carter was thinking that Sadie wasn't working on saving both of them, but like, whatever.
Let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
Most interestingly, on chapter 20, they get to Sunny Acres, the underworld retirement home for forgotten gods. And
Yeah.
it's run by a hippo goddess, aka Bess's ex.
Yes, I do actually want to say this. Me personally seeing like old forgotten gods, like that actually did pull at my little heartstrings just a bit.
It was sad because it is very directly like basically what,
Dementia.
yeah,
Me, all right. So
retirement home full of
fun
Alzheimer's
fact.
patients.
Yeah. Fun fact about me. I don't know why it is, but fate has apparently interlinked me with the elderly. Because, like, back when I was younger, I was forced to volunteer at a convalescent home. Nowadays, I work at a senior center. So, like, I see a lot of elders around me. And I also kind of sympathize with the degradation that I've seen and currently do see. So, seeing these gods basically be left abandoned and degrading, it's just like.
And while it's kind of dark, Sadie even mentions that like, or Sadie or Carter, one of them mentioned that these guys are just stuck there, not unable to remember, and also unable to die, presumably. So they don't even
Yeah,
get
they
the final mercy that usually most senior citizens get eventually. All of us get
yeah,
eventually.
they kind of were a bit iffy on if they do die or not, might be because of the younger target audience again. But basically it was something like, we don't know if they like fade away or if they just get lost in another room or they're just hiding. We really don't know.
Yeah, that's what the hippo goddess says explicitly.
Yeah, Towerette.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's making a note here just because I found it interesting. But wait, actually, are we in chapter 19 or 20? Just double checking.
Chapter 20.
Oh,
I've been
okay,
pairing
yeah.
them together, basically, just doing them in twos.
Mm. Yeah, so when we had first seen the old folks home, I immediately had wrote down Raw might not be doing super well. We had Dementia Raw, and now probably Retirement Home Raw. Oh, and by the way, Dementia Raw was a Raw at a previous gate who didn't remember his own name. They said his name, of course. But my little joke of a note there was, Dementia Raw, forgetting things. How bad did I accidentally get Retirement Home Raw? Or not bad, like good, accurately.
Ooh, well, it's about
More
that
than I knew.
basically. About that
Yep.
basically. So to move forward a little bit, so they have to use a little ritual to actually find Ra in this retirement home, and he's not doing well. Like, cannot string together coherent sentences. Not doing well. We later find out there's a little bit more
Zebras
to
are
it,
neat.
but yeah, zebras are neat. Weasels are sick. Um, and we find out a little bit more about that. Actually, I'll just say straight up, zebra, the weasel, Walt. It seems like he's saying some stuff, and Bast even seems to understand some of his messages at one point, but to the outsider, it seems not great. Though the kids are chastised multiple times for being too
Is this really
disrespectful to
your
him.
plan? True. I feel like they're chastised for multiple reasons. Hey, don't disrespect him. Also, did you really bring him back to sit on the throne?
Yeah, it seems they shouldn't disrespect him, but also none of them seem particularly enthusiastic to be having him back.
Yeah.
And they keep on hoping that, like, oh, if we do a little bit more, if we do this ritual, maybe he'll get back to his senses. He doesn't. Stays about the same until the end.
Retirement home raw indeed.
I think he provide. I think they're able to get the magicians back in Brooklyn some extra energy while they're fighting their fight over there. But outside of that, we end. Well, we'll talk about how it ends later. But for now, just chapter 21. So they're out of time. They were at house like 4. It's like hour 8 at this point, which means they can't enter the 8th house at all. They need time. So after having a lovely dinner with their father Osiris and their dead mother, it's wonderful. It's sweet. They're back in their home in L.A. with the old table that Carter carved a little notch into. They're having pizza and cake for Sadie's birthday, and it's very sweet. It's all very sweet. And then the moon god shows up wearing like a slick suit.
Okay. To be fair, the moon god is here because the kids were like, Dad, we did kind of fail. Like, you didn't fail yet. There technically is one risky way if you want to do it. They're like, we have to save the world. They're like, Khonshu. And then he basically rolls up like a Vegas gambler.
Khonshu shows up. He shows up with undeniable levels of riz.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually was loving him at first.
He's fun. He's a gambler. That one is. So he shows up. He says, "Hey, we're gonna play a little ancient Egyptian board game, and you're gonna gamble your lives for a little bit more time, or they're gonna gamble their true names." Is the idea. 3 names for 3 hours. And so that means Sadie and Carter, and also Bess offers up his name.
This is fine.
So they gamble with the moon god. And Bess manages to get Carter to do a move that actually wins them the game, but loses them one of their pieces, which means Bess loses his true name and essentially his part of his soul. It's almost framed as a character death, though even at this time I was pretty sure that wasn't quite the case.
Yeah, my note here is there is no fucking way Bess is dead.
Yeah. Though they do try very hard to make this a very emotional moment by showing all of Bess's memories, from the past as trauma, the thing with the kids. He even kind of admits to them the whole thing that happened between him and the hippo goddess, how like the story basically goes that he had a crush on Bast who was not really interested in him. That they were very popular gods amongst the common people, so they ended up at a lot of the same places a lot of the times. And he liked her, but she never really returned that feeling. While the hippo goddess, you wrote down her name, I forgot to. Taweret. She was in love with Bess the entire time, and she was very, very kind to him. And he literally says she's too kind, which I think I was able to understand on like an instinctual level almost. The idea that he felt like, and to some extent, maybe she was a little too good for him or too good to him, almost.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Actually, back in chapter 20, under the note of Taweret and Bess used to date. I don't know Taweret, but she could do better. How wrong I was. He pulled up in the end.
He did, but she, and he even explains that when he was stuck at the Dwarven wedding, that he prayed for assistance. He was thinking Bast would come. Taweret comes instead and saves him. And it's such an act of like incredible like kindness and compassion for her to do that. And because he'd been so cold to her up until that point, it basically shames
Shame.
him out of ever wanting to talk with either of them ever again. Which of course makes things worse, not better, because to her perspective, she saved him and then he's ignoring her.
Yeah, they mildly hinted at it. There was just a bit of a awkward reunion between the two that they played off as, oh, they're exes.
Yeah.
Until we found the context.
This, to my view, was not bad. Not considering how much we've been railing against the romance.
Soap opera.
It's like, yeah, this is a good ass soap opera. I'll take it.
Exactly. The angst, this regret. Oh, I love it.
The pining. It has a pulse. It has a pulse.
Love.
It has a pulse to it. That's been our issue with Piper, Jason, Walt, Sadie, Carter, Zia. No pulse. No spark of life. Nothing. This has a pulse to it.
Yeah. In fact, I'd probably be interested in reading a book just about a bunch of one-sided pinings.
I'm sure I could find one for you without
Let me
not trying
rephrase
that
that.
hard.
About Tower Rhett's one-sided pining for Bess, and Bess is pining for Boss.
That's more specific, maybe not. don't think there's people lining down the block in order to write books about Bess. Believe it or not, I think this is maybe the one and only time he's ever appeared in a thing.
Insert Thanos line.
Bet.
Oh no, I'm not confident in my writing skills. I have attempted to do writing and I just hate it. It's just like, no, this is wrong. This is bad.
Also, okay, so chapter 22. This is where that thing actually happens, where Carter looks into Menshkov's eyes and senses, because the writer gave him the script, that he's actually being controlled to some extent. Like mildly, at least. Not like a true control, otherwise they would have actually tried to break him free from it. They still have to totally kill him. That's definitely where they're headed.
I think it was said to be more like he was corrupted as a whole, something like that.
Yeah. Something or other, I don't know. It's something or other, like, you know, maybe the whole thing with Raw shocked him. Maybe just trying that one time to revive Apophis also fucked them up in the head. It's hard to know. I think because it's so vague in a way, this is where you start to kind of come and be like, hey, is it like a disability thing? Is that what this is? Is that how I'm supposed to understand it? That he got maimed for life by Raw and then fucked up in the head because of that? And this is kind of where it gets into like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't even know. A reason why I don't even want to go that hard against it is because I think there's just not enough material here to even...
Honestly, I don't think it was even really thought about that deeply.
Either, well, I mean, a lot of times when it's not thought about that deeply, that's when it's the worst.
You know what, you got me there.
This is a case of there not even being enough material to really get into it too much. So might as well just move past before I accuse the author of more malice than he deserves, or ignorance than he deserves. It's just a little aspect in there that I think bothered me a little bit. Okay, chapter 23 is, I think, where we're describing.
Hold on. We forgot something. Frenchie comes here.
Frenchie.
Yay!
So Frenchie...
All right, chapter 23. Frenchie's gone.
Yeah. So Frenchie believes Carter this time when he actually tells him that, like, Menshkov is trying to revive Apophis. You know, look. It doesn't look great. I mean, you know, I think Frenchie has eyes, so...
Yeah, he literally sees him guiding a bunch of evil spirits.
Mm-hmm. And so turns against him, fights him, and is able to seal him and Apophis momentarily at the cost of his own life. Just buys them time. And he's actually dead. Very few characters actually die in this book. I think he's actually dead, though. Probably. Most likely. Who knows at this point?
We'll find out.
My trust has been shattered. Also because this is also where Jazz comes back, and I had to do a double take. Like, wait, what? Did I miss something? I did miss something, apparently.
Yeah. Also, Raw eats the last scarab, so, like, he might be reunited? Question mark?
Yeah, whether Raw is whole again is very questionable. It seems like he does a thing to help out the magicians over there, and, you know, does a little Excelsior action at the end there that Bass does to warn against to get back up to the heavens. But Yeah, whether he's actually going to do what they want him to do, completely up in the air. Whether they even succeeded in making him whole again, we don't even know. Not for now. So, but we do find out though that apparently he's more cogent than what we assumed, because we find out this is the whole zebra Zia thing. He's been talking about zebras and weasels a lot. We find out that's actually
Yeah.
Zia and Walt, and so it means not only is he aware, but he knows more than he should.
Yeah, because he was not in any room with Zia and Walt.
Never met them up to this point, as far as we
Mhm.
know. So there's something there in that head of his,
There's a
but yeah.
little sliver of hope that, hey, maybe he's going to do a thing.
But for now, we don't know.
Yeah.
And the final chapter, this is where Horace is openly hostile towards Carter over bringing back Raw, where he's just like, yeah, I'm going to does he say something along the lines of like, I will curse you and your descendants so badly it will make what they did to Walt look easy.
Yes, because basically he had said like, if I am to die, I'm going to make sure you're dead. And if we win and Raw didn't do a thing, I'm cursing your bloodline.
So basically, like, either you are exactly right about how this is going on, because either way you cost me a throne. Even even if we win, you still cost me a throne. Yeah, so he's pissed about it.
He's like,
Pissed.
Raw better be pretty fucking integral because he's sitting on my throne.
That's my throne.
Carter actually pulls a bit of big dick energy, and he's just like, do your part.
It was insane. It was insane. And honestly, I have the note where it's like he made Set look chill for a moment there. But really, again, this kind of brings back to what I was saying of like, these guys
They're
are
all
all a bunch
petty
of petty
bitches.
royals who are all fighting over the same goddamn throne and are all killing each other over it constantly.
Mhm.
I'm just glad it's more explicit about it now.
Oh yeah, and Raw's there babbling in the corner. He says something about fish cookie weasel, which I don't know who the F name might be. C is probably Carter. And then Weasel is, as we know, Walter. That's probably going to play something in the next book. But final bit, Lily, take it.
Final bit, Bess at the old
Oh,
folks'
oh
home.
boy.
It's at the old folks' home. So we found out he is alive still. But yeah, he's had all of his memories taken from him, and he's basically just like staring at a
Catatonic.
wall, completely catatonic. Towerette is beside herself about it, but does not blame them. She blames Bast.
She kind of blames me. Yeah, I was about to say.
Does not blame Carter or Sadie. She blames the cat.
She was like, you knew he liked you like that, and you just used him? And then Bass is just like,
Bast seems a bit apologetic about it, but also not necessarily.
she didn't exactly
Yeah.
say like it's the most good of an apology. She was just
No.
like, yeah,
Like, oh
things
yeah,
happen.
sorry about that. It's like, this isn't a sorry about that kind of moment.
Yeah, I guess things got out of hand. Fuck you mean out of hand? This man's catatonic.
In all
And it's just like,
fairness, my absolute assumption is that he'll get better.
yeah. In fact, in a weird way, I think that him being catatonic is worse than his being just on pause until they recover him, because, that.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not. They're not bringing him back from the dead or waiting for him to reform. It's
He's just senile.
yeah. I assume they're gonna do a quest and do some more gambling, and book 3, they'll get him
Yeah.
back.
Those are like, Khonshu, where's my money, you bitch?
Where's my money, you bitch?
I need to get some Moonlight quotes for next time if he is playing him another part.
I hope so. He was fun.
He is. Oh, he even has like a penthouse at the Luxor because of course he does.
Of course that.
Oh, I love him.
I wonder if they'd say that nowadays. Luxor, I feel like, is a hotel that's sunk in reputation a bit in recent years.
I mean, probably so, just because that's the pyramid one, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean it is.
Yeah, so like they
It's
probably
not
still
considered
want to keep that.
luxurious anymore. I don't think.
No, but it
Not the
would
way it
still be
was.
like Yeah, it's still probably keep that connection just because, of course, the Egyptian god who gambled away 5 days is going to have a penthouse in the Egyptian themed one. So,
Let's
like,
let's just say that in this AU, he's just put tons and tons of money to keep it in better condition than what it actually is.
absolutely.
In the same way, wait, okay, who do you uh Greek Roman gods?
Yes.
I guess in this case the Roman gods. Who do you think has a penthouse in Caesar's palace?
Typhus. Or was it Fortuna? Which was the Roman one? Fortuna.
Hmm.
It's gotta be Fortuna. There is no way that it is not anyone but Fortuna.
Hey,
The
but it
literal
better come
god
up.
of luck.
It better fucking come up. I want it to come up. We know. Lin Manuel Miranda Hermes hangs out at the Lotus Casino, but who's at Caesar's palace?
Yeah. Because, like, the literal Roman goddess of luck, Fortuna. It has to be.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct.
Of course I am. The
Fingers
only other
crossed
one,
for Son of Neptune, I guess, or whichever
yeah.
one.
The only other one it could be would be Tish. I don't know how to say her name, but basically another god of luck, but Greek.
Yeah. Well, is there like a Greek hotel over there? I don't think so. There's like Caesar's Palace, and then there's like the Palazzo, but I think it's also just Roman.
Yeah. I like how I also know the god of luck's names just because I, being associated with luck, have been gifted divine powers to know them.
And I
And
can
by
and I
that,
can
mean I
recall like
Googled.
10 Vegas casinos off the top of my dome.
Oh, yes, I have the knowledge of the two gods of luck, and then you have the knowledge of just Vegas.
Vegas, baby. I've walked around there too many times.
Vegas, baby.
I've been to Vegas
I
multiple
played
times.
Yu-Gi-Oh! At Vegas. It was a high-stakes game between my brother and I in our hotel room as my parents gambled.
Nice.
Good
Anyway,
memories.
the conclusion. Let's finish this off before
Carter
we get
gives
completely.
Sadie a book from their mom.
And she says he's the best brother ever. Minor sibling rift mended. We're good to go.
Yay.
Yay!
Oh, and
Hmm?
Walter, I think it was Walter who had said, like, oh,
Well,
get your guys' story out there. Here, just make this book. I mean, audio log.
so I think it's just Walt. I don't think they ever call him Walter. It's just Walt.
Oh, okay, Walt then, yeah.
Okay.
Yay, end of the book.
Conclusion. Do I have any grand analysis now that we're done that I haven't already said? Not really. Again, I think this one was a little like light on the themes.
Yeah,
Don't
grand
think- yeah.
analysis. Dementia sucks. Romance is pog, and Carter has to struggle with being a leader.
Yeah.
I think that's the themes that it's trying to get across.
So,
And I intentionally use pog to try eliciting the same type of cringe I felt during some parts of the romance.
there's not too much to say about the there's not much to say about any literary analysis here. It's pretty light. It's pretty light, honestly. It's a short book, and also there's just it kind of feels like by the time we reach the end that like objectively we just described a lot of events, but I left the book feeling like not that much happened. I don't know if you felt the same.
It kind of felt like just a bunch of and then they do.
And then they did this, and then they did this, and pretty much the whole Raw thing happens over the course of like 5 chapters, and it's over. And that's the only like important part of the book.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a lot of words for not very much. And like I know because I don't want to say something hypocritical because I remember back in Percy Jackson, we had talked about how it did seem to be a bunch of separate and then stuff happened.
Yeah, because that felt more like how it's
Harkening back to the Greek.
yeah, and it's a legitimate structure. It's not always inherently bad.
Mhm. It just kind of feels like not enough to chew on.
Yeah, here it, and I'll even say that I think in Percy Jackson it feels episodic, yes, but also by the time you come to the end, you feel like all that stuff is fed into each other in a way that's satisfying enough to like keep you going, and each of those individual events is like interesting enough to at least keep you aware at the time. Where I even as I've begun to understand the magic and fighting system here a little bit more, I can't say I've like liked it all that much. Or can't say I've been charmed by it at any time. It's there. I think I kind of get it, but it's also pretty fucking impenetrable in a lot of ways, and it's not like Percy just being a guy with a sword feels a bit more visceral and interesting than Carter having his big ol' god-given
Avatar form.
avatar.
Oh,
Or
and don't
Sadie
forget his
just
Super
seemingly being
Saiyan
able to
transformation.
or say just being able to do like anything with magic to your view.
I still feel like it should have been vice versa, but Reardon.
Yeah, it's not. Plus, I don't know. I look at my bookshelf there, and I notice how pretty much post Red Pyramid, how these Kane Chronicles books are pretty short, and how long Lost Hero and Son of Neptune are, and it kind of makes me wonder. Did he just not care as much about these ones? Did he just like stop caring after a certain point and then just did the 3 books just so it would be over? Because there's only 3 with this one. That's the shortest series he has in all of these.
I don't know. For me, I look over at my bookshelf and I see Frieza staring at me.
Nice. I think that's a good enough signal for us to finish here. How about we just sign off? You know our opinions. You know our thoughts. This book was okay. I'm probably gonna trash it in the thumbnail.
Yes, but I do wish to say one final thing before we head off. As I recall, Dejarin said, you were exiled to the 300th gnome in North Korea for murdering a fellow magician.
Oh, yep, sure. Yeah, let's
Yep, I
not
found the
worry
quote.
about that. Do your sign off.
Well, everyone, this has been Luck. Lurkers, Chatters, here for a while, here for a little. I thank you all the same. This is Luck powering off. And remember, everyone, lucky days.
Well, you're past caring, aren't you? Okay, anyway.
If you notice, I messed up the saying too, twice.
3, 2, 1. Good
Good
night.
night.